Hey guys, welcome to this week's review of Real Housewives of New York. Is it just me? But I was actually shocked at the end of the episode when, usually at the end of the season, they give a little title card of what, the ladies are up to next in their life. I was really taken aback because I'm like, wait a minute, this is the last episode of the season already? Is it just me or it felt super short? Like I'm really surprised. I'm half surprised and half relieved, to be honest, because it really didn't seem like anything else was really gonna be happening this season. But I'm like, whoa, it's done already? But okay, fine. I'm here for it. This was a really great episode. You know, and no one, can you believe that nobody fought this episode? But this episode was the most entertaining episode out of the entire season. And that's what I always loved about New York, right? That, yes, okay, don't get me wrong. When they fought, they fought. Out of all the other housewives, right? When they fall out, they fall out. But I also love that they make up like the next episode. But when they fight, they fight. But when they have a good time, they have a good time. And what I love about New York, they don't always rely on drama to be entertaining. The ladies have always been comedic in their own right. Like Sonia is always funny, right? Ramona, being Ramona, although she's incredibly problematic, she can be hilarious, even in a cringy kind of way, Luann, same thing, right? Luann can be funny, and Luann can be funny in her entitled, self-centered, arrogant, cringy kind of way too, right? She can be entertaining to watch. Leia, oh my gosh. Okay, let me not let me not keep insulting everybody in the cast. But all these ladies, I want to say all of them, but they have characteristics. They're characters, right? They're not perfect, but there are characters that you are drawn to. And they don't need to be doing much for you to be entertained. And this is an example of that. And it's kind of sad that we had to wait till the end of the season to really get an episode like this, but I guess it does make sense because they did add new cast members, so I understand that it does take time for everybody to really get comfortable with each other. And this last episode, I'll be honest, like going into this, I wasn't really excited to watch this episode. I've said it before, I think they need a switch up. But you know what? After watching this episode, my mind kind of shifted a little bit. Like, I wouldn't be totally against seeing the same cast. I think they should add Bershawn to the cast. Even though, there's some rumors about her kind of faking it till she makes it. But let's be real. Most of these housewives are faking it to make it. So if they can, I think Bershawn can too. And I do find she's an interesting character. She's kind of kooky and out there. And I think she fits in with the Real Housewives of New York cast. I do. So I would love to see her as a housewife. Based on this episode, I would not mind seeing these ladies again next season because I feel like, okay, they've built more of a tighter bond and a friendship. So we've broke the ice a little bit. So maybe it will be more interesting to see what they would get up to next season. Plus, yeah, because there is COVID, I do think it kind of messed things up for them. So they should get another chance because Real Housewives of New York has been consistent. So I would like to see this cast back. However, I do think that if Dorinda is doing fine, I think they need to add Dorinda back. Like if she's not in that dark place where she was like, last season. I would love to see Dorinda back. Do I want to see Tinsley? I like Tinsley, I do, but I don't know. I don't necessarily really want to see her back, but if she's back, I don't mind. Maybe in a friend of a show capacity. But I definitely think they need more housewives. This is too little housewives this season. They need more housewives so they have more things going on. But I also kind of understand that maybe like Bravo is sort of cutting back on their expenses. So I'm not sure if they can afford to have all these housewives, especially returning housewives, right? Like I would love to see Dorinda coming back. But if to pay Dorinda means they have to get rid of two housewives and a friend of a show to afford Dorinda, as much as I would like to see Dorinda, I would rather see more housewives and friends to the show than just get the same old, same old. Do you know what I mean? But if Dorinda is coming back at a reduced rate and they can still afford to bring, other housewives on, more housewives on, then that's fine. Like, I think they should have 7 housewives or 6 housewives and bring some friends into the show because you got to stay ahead of the game, right? It does take time for the audience to warm up to a new person. Like if you just bring someone right away, I mean, look at the reception Ebony got. She's not completely blameless on that, but I feel like the audience, they're slow to warm up to people, so you need to give them some time so that they can warm up and so that they can get to know the ladies, right? Or you can even like Brashawn, bringing her in as a friend of the show so we can kind of, she's not a main housewife, so we're not seeing her all the time, but we're seeing her here and there, so we're getting to know her a little bit more. So if they want to bring her on next season, we already feel like we know her, even though I'm pretty damn sure she wasn't friends with Ramona in real life. Her being a friend to the show, she has had the opportunity to build relationships with these ladies, right? By this episode, I feel like she is at least starting to form genuine relationships so that if they do bring her on next season, it makes sense. She's not starting from scratch like Leia and Ebony did, right? And I think in the future, I mean, if I was in production, I think that's how I would do it. I think sometimes, of course, you just bring a lady on, but how I would do it, I would have them be a friend of the show first, right? Have them kind of test with the audience, have them build a relationship with the ladies first, see how the group works, how the dynamic works, and if it makes sense, bring them on full time. I think that's how they kind of need to bring on these ladies to make it make a little bit more sense. And I feel like that's what they should have done with Ebony, right? But I understand, I think, like, with Dorinda leaving, with Tinsley leaving, and COVID going on, I think it was just very last minute, and they probably scrambled to get everything together. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Ebony really... See, like... I guess that's how it works in real life, right? I can't hold it against Ebony. In real life, you're just meeting somebody, your representative is gonna come up, you're gonna have your walls up, and I think she came into this situation thinking, this is a great opportunity for me to expand my brand, step into this political realm, blah blah blah. So I feel like she came in there with a mission, and probably the producers were in her ear telling her what they wanted from her, right? She came in like that, but by the end of it, she got to know the ladies and she loosened up a lot more, and I definitely feel like I seen a little bit more of Ebony's personality, and I can see a lot more of how she could potentially fit into the group. Is this a slam dunk season for Ebony? Am I 100% convinced that she should return for another season? No, if I'm gonna be honest. If she doesn't return, am I gonna miss her? No, but based on everything I've seen, I think she should get another chance because she has shown us she's able to loosen up and show us more of her personality. And I did kind of want to see what happened with her dad, right? How come she's not at the end when they showed like the little title card or whatever it's called of where they are in their life now, it says that Ebony was talking to her half sisters, but she wasn't talking to her father. So I would be somewhat interested to hear what happened with that, what's going on, and I would be, since hopefully COVID it won't be what it is by the time they're filming again. I would love to see her visit her half sisters, right? And that be a cast trip. So I do think Ebony definitely has potential for storylines, so we can see where that goes. Okay, so let's just let's get into the episode. Even though there's not really much to review, that doesn't mean it wasn't entertaining. It was just a fun episode overall. The Harry Dubin thing was hilarious. Him calling, like, I don't know. Ramona is an enigma to me when it comes to dating. I really don't know about her because her and Mario got divorced how long ago? And we've never saw her with a boyfriend, right? We may have seen her with a guy, but every time she sort of denies, like, oh, I'm not sleeping with him. I'm not doing anything with him. We're just friends. Like, she's always very secretive, right? So I don't know if she's hiding what's going on or she's just genuinely that kind of person where she's going here and there, she's living her life, she's not committing to anyone. We did get one season of her crying about being alone and not finding anybody. So I don't know if she's in a place where she accepts it. I don't know if she has a secret boyfriend. I really don't know anything about what's going on with Ramona in her personal life. But she's able to get away with it because she's so funny. Even in a cringy and problematic way, she's funny. She's such an entertaining character that she can get away with us not getting so much about her personal life. So, I'm not complaining, but I'm not gonna lie, it would actually be very funny and very entertaining to see Ramona interact with another man or her boyfriend. It would be great to see that side of her. It would be great to see more of her going on dates and things like that. And, but we don't need to see it because I think no matter what scene Ramona is in or who she's with, she's going to be unfiltered. She's going to speak her mind. So it's kind of weird that we don't get to see that side, but whatever. I'm not mad about it. It was also a very fun scene when they talked about their worst experience with men. It was actually really great too that Ramona, because usually in the past Ramona would get up and start saying, oh my gosh, you guys are so inappropriate, and get mad at Leah for speaking about sex. So it was very refreshing to see Ramona speak on these things. And it wasn't vulgar. None of the ladies were like super vulgar, but they were still being honest and real. And that helps me, the audience, to really connect and relate to them, right? Because this conversation, if this was last season or even the beginning of the season, I could totally see this conversation devolving into an argument between Leia and Ramona. So they definitely have come a long way. And at first, when Leia was first introduced into the cast, I'm like, this is kind of awkward. This is kind of weird. I don't really see them being friends. There's such an age gap. But by the end of the season, although I do think they have a love-hate relationship, but I do at least get the impression that there is a genuine relationship, right? So that is definitely an improvement. It was also nice. The following day, they went to a Greek restaurant. Leia was talking about Rob, and she started breaking down and crying because I guess she wanted to marry him. She saw herself with him, and it didn't work out. And that was another, sweet moment of the ladies bonding, because I think all of the ladies at the table, because no one is married or in a relationship in this cast, which is fine. But I think all the ladies can relate to, you're with someone, you think that you're going to spend the rest of your life with them, you think it's going to work out, and it doesn't. And of course, Ramona, in her awkward way, she's shouting at Leia. She's trying to comfort her, but she's not really doing that. I mean, Ramona, we know what Ramona is at this point, so I'm not even going to focus too much on that. And then later that evening, like, this was genius. This was genius. I don't know if this was done before in any of the other franchise, but, other franchises, they need to reuse this theme party, because them doing the swap was absolutely hilarious. And like Leia said, it was somewhat therapeutic for them, I think, especially like Luann / the producers. They made each woman swap with the person that they were having the most conflict with. So I think it was a fun way to kind of work through the issues that they've had with each other. And sometimes, when you have a conflict or an argument with somebody, it's kind of, I think it's helpful to see how you are coming across. Like, when you're having an issue with someone, it's so easy to focus on what they're doing wrong, how they're effing up the situation, how they're to be blamed. But when you swap roles, you can kind of reflect on yourself and see how you are coming off in a certain situation. And you may realize, like, I wonder, when Ramona was being Leia, like, Ramona killed it. Like, Ramona and Ebony, they killed it, right? I'm gonna give Ramona the slight edge because it's so opposite. I mean, I do feel like Leia and Ramona are more similar than they like to give each other credit for, but I feel like it was so left field for Ramona. Like, at least with Ebony and Luann, I do feel like their personalities are kind of similar. Like, they're both really arrogant in a way. And okay, I shouldn't say arrogant. They're regal, I will say, right? They have a way of carrying themselves. So they were in the same ballpark, but I guess Leia and Ramona, even though they're both unfiltered and they both yell and scream or do whatever, I think because they had the most tension, it was just so great to see them switch roles. And Ramona absolutely killed it as Leia. And as I was saying, I wonder how Leia felt when Ramona was like throwing things at Leia and getting in her face, pretending to be her. I wonder if she reflected on herself and saw, okay, you know what? I can be a little bit much. I can be a little bit abrasive. Maybe that's something I need to work on in the future. I wonder if she had that moment of epiphany or whatever. Like I said, Ebony was great. Ebony was low-key roasting everybody. I think Ebony really had the best costume because she had the Giovanni dress, she had the fur stole, she had the microphone, the crown, the hair. I think Ebony definitely killed it. Luann looked absolutely great. I think she should have kept on the glasses because I don't know, I wasn't really getting Ebony, but I can understand it's hard to impersonate somebody that you don't know so well, right? So you don't really have as much material, where Ebony has like years and years and years and years of material on Luann and things to pull from, right? Leia, I'm really disappointed with Leia and her outfit. I mean, I think it was cute with the Pinot Grigio, RV bag and everything like that, and the mask, but the wig, I don't know. I didn't get Ramona from the wig. I got Ramona from the eyes, maybe, but not from the wig. And the dress is absolutely not Ramona. Ramona would never wear something like that, right? And like I said, with Ebony imitating Luann, she had years and years and years of things to pull from. Same thing with Leia being Ramona. You have years and years and years of things to pull from, and that's what you wear. You could have wore Ramona blue, right? The blue she always wears at reunions, right? You could have wore something like that. The wig could have been better, right? I don't know what she was trying to do with that wig, but but it was okay, it was okay. This is let me not criticize this too deeply because this is for fun. The dress, I mean, Ramona wouldn't really wear a nude illusion bedazzled thing. I think earlier on in the scene, Leia had something else. Like, she had a black dress on, and with like a bit of cleavage showing. And even though that wasn't exactly Ramona, I feel like that was a little bit more of an accurate portrayal. I definitely agree with Ramona saying, like, I was kind of disappointed in Leia's look, but I feel like Leia just wanted to be Leia. And that's how I feel. I think Leia saw the Giovanni dress and was like, okay, I just want to wear this because it's a beautiful dress and I want to wear it. And, Leia is very flashy in her fashion, so that's just what she wanted to do. The dress was absolutely gorgeous, and it did look absolutely gorgeous on Leia, but, I mean, that's not Ramona. Sonia definitely killed it as well with Bershawn in terms of the outfit, because that is totally something I feel like Bershawn would wear. 1000%. Sonia also killed it. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous with Sonia imitating Bershawn, because I feel like in the previous episode when they had their sort of conflict, Sonia was sort of putting on an accent or an act, and it made me slightly uncomfortable. So, and I know how Sonia can get when she drinks, so I didn't want her to say or do anything too crazy, but gladly she didn't. And she definitely killed the look part. Bershawn, I don't know, I didn't really get Sonia from her outfit. I got the idea, but it wasn't really Sonia to me. But Sonia doesn't really have a distinctive style, in my opinion. Not to say she has a bad style, but it's not, like, distinctive. If you were to imitate Sonia, what would you wear? So, I guess she's kind of hard to imitate in that way. Am I forgetting anybody? No, I think I touched on everybody. It was definitely great when they were all around the table, and kind of Luann wrote questions that were directed to each sort of character, and it was great to see the other ladies' interpretation of each other, and it was a bonding moment. I'm not going to go through everything. You guys saw the episode, but it was a great bonding moment. Ramona was very touched by Leia. I was like, oh my gosh, you get me. Like, just being over the top and unnecessary. Like, Ramona, calm the hell down. It isn't that deep, but if it touched her, it touched her. Overall, great scene. Very hilarious. Other franchises, they need to steal this theme party. I'll end this off with what's her name again? Leia. What Leia was saying, like, she gave this little speech at the end, where it's like, despite everything that was going on, the political tension, racial tension, COVID, everything, we were able to come together, and this group sort of proved that we can come from different backgrounds, we can have different opinions on things, but at the end of the day, we are still able to come together and build a bond, and it can work. And for those who felt that, oh, okay, the housewives should be segregated, right? Like, all the whites should be together, all the blacks should be together. I mean, there's not even a full Asian cast out of the franchise, but if there was, like, all the Asians should be together, all the all the that needs to be together, all the this needs to be together, and everything should just be separate. I do understand in certain areas that's what you're gonna get, that's what's gonna happen. Like Atlanta, okay, fine. Even though, I mean, even Atlanta, you can find people from all races, but I can understand Atlanta being an all-black cast, right? I can understand OC being an all-white cast, right? Certain areas, okay. But I don't feel like all of the, how many franchises do they have? Like, How many cities? 100? It's just kind of ridiculous that for a very long time up to this point, right? Only 2 out of the 100 franchises have had non-white cast members. It's a little bit ridiculous to me, right? Especially with New York City, right? I know that maybe in New York City things are segregated, but listen, this is a reality show, and despite the name of the genre being reality show, this is produced, right? This is somewhat artificial. These people are not even real. Well, maybe not so much with New York, but definitely with the other franchises. These people are not real, genuine friends, right? This is contrived. This is manipulated. This is produced. This is artificial. So, if we're gonna do all this, then I think it's a little bit ridiculous to say, oh, we can't have people of different races in the same cast, because that's not realistic. A lot of things about these shows are not realistic. And yes, maybe the majority of people are segregated, fine, which is sad, but maybe that is the situation. But that doesn't mean that everybody is, right? That doesn't mean all friend groups look like that. Some people do have a mixed friends group, and maybe this is something that we should promote. Maybe this is something that we should show on television, because we've seen the segregated stuff already. Like, we've seen it like that. Maybe it would be great to just, get an example of a mixed group, and to show that, okay, it's not, yeah, you're gonna have moments when it's gonna be awkward. You're gonna have moments where you're gonna have difficult conversations. But that doesn't mean that they still can't come together, and they still can't be friends, and they still can't move past it. Because this last episode showed that despite all the awkward moments, they were able to come together and bond. And that's real life, right? That's real life. So it was great to see. It was a great message. And I think definitely New York City, has the reputation of being the most diverse city in the world. So it's kind of ridiculous for the most diverse city not to have somewhat of a diverse cast. It can work. It definitely can work. Now, like I said before, like if I was production, I would have people kind of be friends of the show first to build that bond, and then introduce them as a housewife to make sure that they actually have relationships with the existing cast, so it's not so awkward, right? So it does somewhat make sense, but I think that's more on production and how they're putting everything together, right? I do think Ebony has had a hard time. It was a hard situation. However, with Ebony, I will say this. I just wish she was a tad bit more humble about it. If she was just like, yeah, I can understand how at the beginning I came off a little preachy, but I was uncomfortable. But now I'm comfortable with the cast. I now have friendships with the cast, so you're gonna see a little bit of more of who I am. But instead of doing that, she just comes off as really defensive, right? And it's just a little bit much. Now, the rumors are, I don't know about these rumors, because even with Atlanta, the bloggers every 5 seconds, they come out with rumors about the casting, and then the next day they come out with rumors contradicting the rumors that they just released the day before. It's all over the place. So I don't know if the rumors about New York is necessarily true, right? Because the rumors was that, one, Ramona didn't want to do the reunion because she didn't want to talk about race, which is not entirely unbelievable, I guess. But on the same point, I don't know. I don't see Ramona skipping out on a reunion and skipping out on a paycheck. I feel like Ramona would kind of do the reunion. Would she deflect? Would she pull a Nene because I heard it's going to be a virtual reunion. Will Ramona pull a Nene? Definitely. I definitely think at some point Ramona will pull a Nene and just leave. So, but like, and then we hear, oh no, everything is fine, she's doing the reunion. So I don't know what's going on that with that. They haven't even, I don't believe, I think they filmed the reunion. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if we're gonna get a reunion next week. I hope we do. I hope they don't drag it on and we have to wait another week or 2 weeks before we get the reunion. I hope we just get it right away and just finish the season off, hopefully. Another rumor is that production wanted to fire Ebony, but Ebony is suing them for discrimination for firing her. That's the rumor, but I don't know. I don't necessarily believe that either. I mean, all this silliness. So we're just gonna find out when we're gonna find out. I don't even think I've seen a preview for the reunion, right? Because at the end of the episode, usually at the end of a season, you get the preview for the reunion. The end of this episode, we just got the preview for the unseen moments. So there's definitely some sort of issue going on. I hope next week we get a reunion, but something tells me we're not. Because is there any previews? I haven't seen any previews for a reunion, so that's not looking too great. Anyways, guys, I'll see you when I see you with that review.